going on. Obviously, early game, a lot of looting, trying to stay alive. Points system being very important. As you see, there's no one at military base at all, which is very odd in my opinion. I think at least 1 or 2 teams might go there.
Yeah, it looks like Vincent and his squad are going over there, and Matcherino decides to go next to the bridge near the gas station and outside of Milta. But we see it's still a fair or even spread across the map right now.
And one thing that's nice is it's not a full amount of teams. I'd say there's probably about close to 60 players playing at this moment. And so this allows a lot more places to go down to get loot, to really have almost a whole city by yourself. There's a higher chance of that happening. As you see, Midi 28 and his team are all by military base. They're going to get free level 3 loot all day. Every team pretty spread out. You shouldn't see too much action except by the school area. I feel like that's where we're going to see the first fights and squads going on.
Well, right now it looks like there's 2 squads in Rozhawk. It is Kelton, Harbor, TTT, and Hot Sriracha facing off against
Hot Sriracha, I like that.
Lincoln Chaos, J-Ran, and Jake to see who will dominate Rozhawk and who will get that city to themselves to have the max loot they can possible. So we'll see who will win the first engagement between these 2 squads. They are relatively close to each other, but there are 3 players on the other side of the road, so they do have the uphill advantage to spot Lincoln Chaos, J-Ran, and Jake. But there is 1 player from the other squad by himself, so that is an opportunity for Lincoln and his team to just push and get that kill. I wonder if they did see them parachute into Rozhawk with them.
You know they saw them. They're just maybe a little scared. They don't want to push anything too aggressively in a game like, PUBG, where the point system, everything's designed to survive and to try to stay as late as possible in the game. And so you want to try to avoid early confrontations because it's just so much more beneficial to kind of stay alive and loot. As you see on the map, nice overview shot. We do have 2 teams, so it's inevitable that these teams will probably going to run into each other eventually. But when? I don't know. I guess it's up to them to really realize. So far, early game, I don't think anyone's even been killed yet. Pretty typical, pretty standard. See Jake at ESPL. He's picking up some stuff in the warehouse. Got 2 rifles, why not? Double the guns, double the trouble. I like it. Give me the overview, Josh. Yes. And you see the circle from the mini map up there. It's the circle is going to be towards the Primorsk kind of gat cut area. Who knows how small it'll get to what area, but not too bad of a circle. I kind of actually like that circle. It's one of my more favorite circles. It's a lot of room to kind of, if you want to go around the water, you want to take some vehicles, not like Military Island where you have to go across water or a small bridge. Usually ends up being a death trap.
Well, it looks like Jake and his team have decided to leave Rozhawk. I do feel like Jake did spot the other team in the houses because he was looking through the fence, looking at the street, and I think they just decided to run because they must be decently looted. As you can see, Jake at least has an M4. He has a helmet.
Can't be that great, though.
Yeah, but he only has 2 boosters, which is not that good because...
you see a lot of level 1. You see the J-Ran doesn't even have a helmet at all. And so, obviously, armor in this game is so beneficial. Head armor, body armor, whatever you want to call it. It reduces the bullet damage by a significant amount. Pretty sure level 1's 45%. It's 40 or 45. I could be completely wrong on the numbers, but point being, it gives damage resistance, and that's what you need. Level 3 obviously being the best, and so you always want to try to go for those.
But you guys can see on the map that every team is relatively spread apart. They do kind of have their own city or own area or compound, whatever you want to call it, to loot themselves in peace while the circle is closing in. We do have 1 squad in Novo, another squad to have military base all to themselves, another team at Ferry Pier. So it's going to be a good fight at the end. I think for every map of these series, Eric, I think everybody's going to just have a big gunfight at the end.
Hey, I mean, that's what we come here. That's what we're trying to watch is some little action, little strategery. However, what kind of game plan that you come up with, if it works for you, so be it. But it's a pretty standard game so far. Nothing too out of ordinary. Just having a good old time. Just trying to loot. People just want to loot sometimes, you know? Have you ever been to the beach and just have a metal detector, Josh? You ever done that before?
Never.
Of course not, because you're not 65 years old. But it's always great, you know. I've always wanted to try it at least once. But I just never owned a metal detector, so I never had the opportunity. Maybe one of these guys will. Maybe one of these guys have a metal detector. You think any of these guys will own a metal detector, Josh?
Doubt it.
I wouldn't be surprised. You know, it's like a pastime, you know, having a good time. Walking the beach, getting some sun rays. Us gamers, we don't get sun rays, Josh. We just sit there and just really just have a monitor tan. That's all we get.
Yeah, but it looks like right now, whoever Behemoth is and his 2 teammates, or 3 teammates, there is one person maybe caught off guard in that city. No, my apologies, I was wrong. But
it's okay to be wrong.
We
as long
do
as
have
you admit your mistakes.
We do have 4 to 5 squads right now, at least in the white or near it, while the others do need to make their way in. They do have some time, or actually now they don't really have that much time because the blue is coming in, but they could just tank the damage for a little bit if they're looted up or if they have a vehicle. We'll see right now that Bahama and his team are on the outskirts of the map, and they have a buggy. They can make their way in at their own time. But we'll see what goes on.
We'll see.
We'll see if there's any other firefights right now. The two squads at Military Base and Novo should start making their way. I wonder if they're scared that there will be any bridge campers. Luckily, there aren't, because August and his 3 teammates were initially outside of Milta near the bridge, but they are making their way into the white as well.
There you go. You get in there eventually. And since the first blue circle damage isn't that significant as later in the game, you could tank a little bit of the blue if you want to loot a little bit extra. You're in a big city, a big area like Military Base or Novo. You definitely want to try to loot as much as possible. Try and get the level 3 items, suppressors, just any add-on that you can find. The more, the merrier, the better for the late game. You want to be stacked up. You want to get jacked, Josh. You want to be jacked in this game. You know what I'm saying? You got the level 3 helmet and armor, you jacked. Yes, I do. But let me find who do you think is going to be the first battle? I think it's going to be somewhere towards Georgetown. There's a couple teams in that area. We'll see if there's any action going on. A lot of open space. Not many buildings to hide in towards the crates of Georgetown. You see on the screen, Half Sam, one of the members that works at Esports Arena, goes by the name of, literally we just call him Half Sam, but you can call him Sam.
But you can see right now that Team Esports Arena outside of Yasnaya is so spread apart. Look at these little Rambo players. There's no teamwork with this company right now. You see
what's
this?
What's Madness doing? Was he trying to be a superhero? Is all by himself? Look,
Madness has the confidence.
His level 1 armor, no boost. Does he have a fist? I mean, he has a couple rifles on his back.
He's strapped with a SCAR and an AK and
he's
a
just
level 2
running
helmet.
full speed. By the way, if you guys did not know, you run faster without a rifle in your hand. So pistol and no gun, I believe, run at the same speed. And then it gets a little slower when you're running out with a shotgun or rifle in your hand.
So it looks like we have one guy by himself, Toxic Gnome, the legendary hero playing by himself. Doesn't need teammates, doesn't need help. He doesn't want to be bothered by other teammates. But it looks like there is going to be a squad going towards him, and that is going to be Lincoln Chaos and his group coming from the ruins right now. But we can see that Toxic, I wonder if Toxic Gnome knows that they're there or saw them and just hoping that they'll go to that yellow compound right now. That's why he is prone, but he only has a red dot. But he does have a lot of meds. He can take a fight. But if I was in his situation, I would be doing the exact same thing. I'd lay low, let the
Yeah.
other teams fight it out, and I'll just pick them off when they're not looking.
Yeah, I believe that some of these people, you see one person for this guy, because I think maybe his teammates are working or late to the whole party thing. Obviously, sometimes you got to work. So, but he can make it. He can still make it through. I mean, if he gets top 5, with some kills, that's still a pretty positive thing to do. And as you see, Link Chaos, does he spot someone? No, it's a bush. That's the thing with this game. Sometimes bushes look like people. And I don't know what it tells you about your psyche. I'm not a psychologist here, Josh. I don't know about that ink blot test, okay?
But it looks like we got Faven, Choppa, Skylick, and First Crow just taking their boats, wrapping around the entire circle to maybe get nice positioning against the shoreline of Primorsk, or maybe left of Quarry, so that they can just kind of wrap up and just move into the circle as it closes in.
I'm surprised that they managed to get from the little channel between the military island and the mainland without being shot at, because you'll see a lot of people camping bridges, maybe people by coastline trying to get there. Usually you see a boat in the water, you just want to be focused. You think, oh, moving target, I love it. It's going to be hard for them to shoot me, but I can shoot them. And that's one of the risks of taking a boat, that if you drive too close to land, you're going to get shot at.
But you can see right now that there is... I think that Georgepol is going to get pretty hot right now, because we do have 4 squads in that general area. We have a squad in Hospital and then another group in South Georgepol. But there will be looks like there will be an engagement from Stantheon and his team against Takuls in the hills. So we'll see who will win this initial duel right now.
Good for you.
I wonder if they did spot each other?
I don't think they spotted each other. I think that they're trying to find people high ground. But if they spotted these Team 10 over here on the bottom, they'd definitely be shooting at them with a high ground advantage. Obviously, high ground is just not a meme. It's an actual thing in warfare. High ground makes it really hard for the low ground people to spot the reposition. So it's always good to have high ground.
So it looks like we got Team Esports Arena, who is the last team out of the entire group, just taking damage from the blue, making their way in finally. But they are just putting the pedal to the metal.
They are veteran
into
players.
The hills.
There are veteran players, so these guys play a lot of PUBG. Stev Lawson could have possibly been semi-pro, but he had to just be better.
Look at this. The gang's all here.
Look at them all. Just one little landmine, and they all go just flying out the window. 3 of them being women. Obviously, you could be anything in this game, so that's what they choose.
Ooh, but it looks like there is going to be engagement outside of Quarry near the shoreline right now between Choppa and LL Fool J's team. LL Fool J does have a teammate knocked down
like
right
that
now.
name.
LL Fool J. But it looks like there is a teammate knocked down, so it is going to be a 2v4 situation. And we'll see. Actually, Choppa's team also has a teammate down, so it's going to be a 3v2 situation while both teams are rezzing the knockdown teammate. Choppa is trying to swing wide to the left. He does get tagged, and he's trying to get to the tree for cover. One more shot, and he will be knocked down. He is knocked down right now by LL Fool J. So now they do have 3 people alive behind the shack. Looks like Choppa's going to get finished off, and Skylack is behind a rock. Maybe he was trying to cover his teammate. I apologize. I went away from that action, but I'm going back to right now. Skylack is hiding behind a rock. He does know that the whole squad is behind that shack. Hopefully, if they have a nade, they can toss like a little Kobe nade and blow them all up.
That's a pretty far nade right there.
I believe.
Sometimes you have to have hope. You got to have hope. And this 12 team, they're not in the best of spots. You see LL Fool J taking free shots. And with not much cover, they're going to have to try to find some rock or trees. The Skyline's getting taken out. About 30 HP. He's going to have to run away. Hopefully, praying that they miss their shots, shoot him in the back. But with him closing the distance from far away, just keep running away. It's going to be difficult for them to shoot him with just red dots and holographic sights.
So it looks like Faven is trying to make his way out. He does get tagged, and he's trying to get behind the boat possibly for some cover. Luckily, he does prone, and he can heal up now. First Crow is hiding in the water, which is still the meta for competitive play. It's just to play under the water, wait the time.
My friend. Just shoot through water, please.
We have Argo Fox with a 4 times behind the shack. Just Faven pinned down over there. And I think they do know that Skylack is by himself as well on the left. They do blow up the boat, and it looks like Faven did make his way into the water with first crow.
LL Fool J trying to just be ambitious here, trying to take the long shot with the AK and holographic. Let me tell you, this is not an easy shot to hit. Obviously, they're kind of tunnel vision towards the area. Obviously, you want to get kills, loot their bodies, move on. But if you focus so much on one area while shooting, that alerts other teams in the area. And I think with these guys, luckily they're safe other than those people. But again, you never want a tunnel vision. You just never want a tunnel vision.
Well, it looks like Matcherino did just get knocked out by TTT, and he does just have his last teammate, August. We must on the outskirts of the compound. Hauber, TTT, and his team, and Hot Sriracha and Keelan. That is going to be a 4v1 situation against John and Rose, possibly. But we'll see who will win this initial duel between these four. We have John and Rose by himself in the building. Just kind of proning right now. Hopefully,
ooh, M24.
Yeah, hopefully the deductible is. But yeah, exactly. He does have an M24 with a 4x. So if he just lands 4 headshots, do you believe?
4 headshots?
Do you believe?
I mean, sometimes you gotta believe. You gotta try. Always hope for the best. But
he does get tagged trying to peek the window right now.
It's not the best. So we see here for Young Toon over here. They're kind of surrounded by. There's another team about 100 meters northwest of these guys. I'm pretty sure they were exchanging shots earlier, but then decided to back off, play a little safe game. You're in the circle, waiting for the blue. Just wait for the next point to just dive into, because at this point in the game it's getting late. The circles do a lot of damage, and so you want to try to get into the middle as possible with some coverage and housing and all that good stuff.
So it looks like the Rat is on the second floor of the building and does have a decent angle against Hot Sriracha and his squad.
Hot Sriracha. Isn't Sriracha already hot? Is there non-hot Sriracha out there? Do you know, Josh?
I have no idea.
Because it's like cold ice, you know? Ice is already cold. Am I wrong here?
No, you're right. You're digging a little deep, but you're right.
I'm digging a little deep, exactly. As you see in the map, the circle is closing towards the quarry and northwest of Ferry Pier. Now, this little spot in the map, there's a lot of hills, a lot of trees, definitely an elevation of ground, as you can see. And let's take a look over here. There's some shots being shot from Shimona. And the other team, by the way, his name is after a noise that Michael Jackson makes. So I said it properly, I hope. He's a Groza, so care packages. These guys have been going some hunting over here. But again, playing the house, you want to win. Why be out in the open when you just camp a window? Cheesy, I know. Got Madness. Just hanging out. Not much, though. Trying to poke at something. But with their surrounding, they have a pretty good view of anyone trying to creep up on the house. And so it's actually a pretty good spot by Team Esports Arena. Still in the circle. So that's all good. X and AK. Do not recommend. One thing with the AK, it definitely gets a lot harder the longer you have to shoot, because there's a lot of bullet drop. It's actually one of the slowest velocity of bullets in the game. I believe it's the slowest, with Mini being the fastest. Well, other than the AWP, I think the Mini is the second fastest in the game.
Well, going over towards the Rat and Jaman Rose, it is a 2v4 situation between Clinton, Hot Sriracha, Harbor, and TTT. Unfortunately, the Rat and his teammate Jaman Rose, they are getting pinched right now. And I think they don't know that Vincent, Hallstar, Midi, and John are making their way up, because they do hear the gunshots between the duels of the two squads in this compound. So look, I believe that the Rat and Jaman Rose will get pinched and wiped out, and then it will be a 4-on-4 situation. But we'll see what will happen right now. They're all laying low, hoping that somebody will peek their head first to get a knockdown, because Hot Sriracha did, I think it was Hot Sriracha that did knock down one of the Rat's teammates and finished him off. And as you can see, Vincent and his teammates are on the hill, hearing the gunshots, hoping to spot ahead. Maybe they'll run out of the compound and get a free shot. But everybody's playing so patient because they are all in the white circle right now. And they can just play the time as long as they can and wait for the next circle spawn.
Exactly. With the circle closing in, you're going to see a lot more outside edge battles here. Obviously, people in the middle don't want to move too much. They're in the circle. Don't risk it. But sometimes you got to risk it for the biscuit, man. Sometimes you got to do that.
Yeah, you can see Kelton right now. He just ran outside to possibly get a free, or just to get some information on where the other two are in the compound. But knowing that it is a risky situation, that if he does get knocked down, he will get killed. So he does make his way back into the house near his teammates. And from here, I do think they're just all going to play the time. But Kelton does run back out. He does want to get more info.
He wants to make a play right now.
Possibly. We'll see right now what he's going to do in this situation. He has got a mini with the 2 times, which is good enough at this range between the two teams.
Exactly. He's trying to go for that headshot, though. Very difficult with the 2 times, trying to snipe someone in a building. Especially if the other guy has like a 4x or 8x. Just scopes are so advantage in this game, especially the longer you are from the person. Usually the better scope has a huge advantage. Again, nothing much. Kelton just kind of scout for his teammates as his teammates are hiding back. So the interesting strategy by these guys that just pretty much 12 teams, 35 left alive. Just playing the eyes and ears, and again, the next circle hits it up, and it's going to be northeast of Quarry, pretty much in the mountainous region of this area. So it's have to force all teams to pretty much move towards the circle. See, North Circle Dolts is fighting some people out here. Get some shots off, but nothing too much. Oh.
So it looks like we got Steph Lawson with a car 98 and an 8 times, and he does hear the team up on the hill towards his north side. There is a duo, a squad right now that were at the crate that were dropped down, and Doltz, Digeg, and Lechimp were shooting at Paparazz and Stanthan. So Stev is trying to get information using that 8 times to get all the maximum visibility he can to get information for Team ESA.
That 8X looks so beautiful. I was arguing with Steve today because he was playing a warm-up game, and he ran over an 8X and didn't pick it up. And I was yelling at him. I was like, Steph, why didn't you pick up the 8X? And then he told me 8X are for scrubs. But guess what? He's using 8X right now. So who's a scrub now, Steph? Huh?
So it looks like Half Sam did spot Paparazz and his teammates up in the hill, who were initially taking a duel against Chimp. And now Paparazz is rezzing his teammate Stanthan. Shimona Hay and Madness Mo are holding the angle right now. They do know that Paparazz and his teammates are behind the tree. They're trying to get their way out. Paparazz does take a damage. He has less than 1 HP. Ooh. And he's just proning, trying to crawl his way out. He does get knocked down. Now it's up to Stanthan to see if he can bring him up. But this is a high risk, high reward. Madness Mo and Half Sam do finish off Paparazz. So now it's all up to Stanthan to get out of that situation and hopefully win with the placings. And just trying to play time. And hopefully that other squads will fight each other. So Stanthan is making his way into the white because the blue is coming in. Running in an S, using the trees, using whatever he can as cover. Shimona Hay does run outside of the compound and does distract Stanthan, and Madness Mo finishes him off with an AK. So now we have Team ESA with the compound right next to the white, so it's not a far run for them to be safe while the blue is making their way in.
Yeah, not at all, but they're going to be taking shots from the J-Ran, who has a very advantaged position, shooting up Shimona to 50 HP with a Scar and a 4X. You can do a little bit of damage, but again, it's a 4-on-1 situation, so he's going to have to methodically knock down each person before he can do anything, because obviously 1-on-4 is a huge disadvantage in this game. And look at this. Esports Arena are trying to crawl up on the J-Ran. He's taking shots. But
looks
so
like Steph
far,
Lawson
nothing
heard
much.
the gunshots, though. So he does know where J-Ran is, and he is taking shots. J-Ran is playing really aggressive, but does get finished off by Half Sam with a headshot, I think. Half
Sam with an AK headshot. So, you know, if you have a level 1 helmet or not 100 HP, sometimes it's just a 1-bullet kill, and that's what happens.
Jumping over to midi right now, there is a team that's crossing the road and in the blue, so now it's a 2v3 situation because Pulsar is knocked down and about to get finished off by bleeding out. So Midi pinned down behind a tree, using the 4 times in the mini to just take some free shots because Delirious and his teammate are out in the open. Delirious gets knocked down, and now it's up to Move 53, who is taking shots, does knock down one, but then gets finished off by Midi. So that was just a really unfortunate positioning by that team to be caught off guard out in the open with no cover, not even any trees. So there was positional advantage to Vincent and his squad.
Yeah, it sucks when this circle closes and you have to run across the field. That's why you see in a lot of pro play, a lot of vehicles involved. Here, you don't see many vehicles at all. So that's one difference you can spot between the high-level play and low-level play is that just there's not enough vehicle. You need more vehicles. You can't risk running out in the open with no cover. You can't just run from across the street in this game. It's too crazy, too dangerous.
But it looks like Hot Sriracha was taking shots at Halfsam, who is pinned behind a tree right now with Shimonahe. Shimonahe heals up and is trying to run. Halfsam is running the wrong way. I don't know why he's running away from his teammates. Maybe he's just trying to get down the hills to just get some cover. But it looks like the other boys are already gone. Halfsam is going to be a little Rambo by himself. Hobart is running up to try to get more information, trying to spot the enemy team. And he is advancing right now. He is getting close. He can see the backs of Stev Lawson and Shimonahe. But we'll see what they do now. Madness Mo is also by himself. And the Team ESA is just very spread out, while Hobart are playing relatively close to each other to get trades and res each other if they do get knocked down.
See here, Stev Lawson's trying to get in the circle, trying to support, trying to get his team, some coverage. And then Steve Lawson, what a shot. I didn't even see him on my screen. He gets a little headshot, takes him out. And now the second person, they just figure out where they're getting shot from, but it could be too little too late as they have to revive when their teammates and heal up. So not a terrible position from Team O2 over here with Big Egg and Dolts and all them. It looks like Team ESA wants to close the gap, take advantage of them healing and resing each other. Stev, being Rambo here, he's going to run up. And the team is following suit a little bit, so you're going to see a barn burner right here. Stev throwing a nade, does get shot. And then he gets a guy off guard and headshots Dolts with a Scar 98, Scar L.
But it looks like Dig Egg is trying to make a play for his team while his teammates are getting rezzed. Dig Egg is getting pinned down by Shimonahe and Stev, who are advancing relatively aggressive. And Dig Egg is just trying to play all the angles, leaning left and right, trying to get some headshots. Stev cooks a nade right now, about to cook it. Oh, and Madness Mode does knock down Dig, so now it's going to be a 4-on-2 situation between ESA and Lei Chimp. Lei Chimp is out in the open, taking shots at Shimonahe, down to less than half, as well as Dolts just finally healing up. But they are ESA is aggressing close, and Madness Mode is rushing with the Scar.
Ooh, Lei Chimp.
Yeah, and he knocks down Lei Chimp.
There you
and
go.
now it's
Is
up
that
to
it?
Dolts.
Wait, there's
no,
one
it's
more.
up to Dolts.
There's one more. Stev, he sees him. He's healing. Don't let him kill your teammate. Do not let him kill your teammate. And Stev stopping the heal to save Halfsam. He's kind of unaware of that situation. And so now 4 teams left, 15 alive. The circle is getting really small here. And so it's going to be just a bunch of fighting until the last team stands. TTT 712 looks like a hacker name. But what can you say? Some people just have weird names. Don't try to revive him in the blue. That's not a good idea. You need it. The blue does so much damage. You can see TT712 did not expect to be this much damage, and now you put yourself in a terrible spot and barely outrunning the blue. Manages to squeak on by. But oh, does he spot Kelleton? That's his teammate. Okay. Don't freak out too much there, Kelleton.
Okay, but it looks like everybody is getting close. We got Creamy Beats and Trav Piper getting aggressed by Team ESA. Does get knocked down by Stev, and now it is going to be Creamy Beats by himself, and he's knocked down as well. So where is Jay Victorious and Young Tuna to help his teammates? Halfsam is knocked down as well, and now it's going to be a 3v2 situation. Halfsam will be rezzed, and it looks like it's going to be Team ESA versus Hot Sriracha and Clelton, and they're third.
4-on-3. Oh. Yeah, 4-on-3
it's gonna
situation.
Be 4-on-3, yeah.
4-on-3 situation. Not much heals on Hot Sriracha. Does have a couple bandages and 1 boost, so it's going to take him a good 30 seconds to heal all up. Now, when you are bandaging up, you don't want to bandage right away, because obviously it's inefficient. You got to let it kind of build up a little bit, wait a couple seconds between each bandage, and so it takes a little bit extra time to do it that way. Healing up, though, ESA having a great spot in the middle of the circle forces this three-team, Hot Sriracha, Skeleton, and TT712 to really move from their spots to engage on Esports Arena.
So Skeleton, TTT, and Hot Sriracha are starting to swing left, and it looks like Shimona Hay will get first contact with the 4 times in the Groza. Hopefully, Shimona Hay will land the shot first. He is cooking a nade, and he is throwing over the hill, which I don't think is the play. Looks like Kilton does spot Shimona Hay, and Shimona Hay spots his head as well. Shimona Hay takes damage.
Reacting.
Yeah, and he's taking more damage by Kilton, and looks like he's got Madness Mo behind him, who just got knocked down by Sriracha. That was a risky play to have 2 people behind 1 tree, but they are all in the white, so they do have good positional advantage.
The blue. It does so much damage. Now Steph Lawson's kind of out to the side here, trying to do a flank, but he might get caught off by 3 people here. What a move by this team. They might be able to capitalize on this. Steph is going to get flanked from his left, but he prones, so I doubt they even see him. Oh no, what a move by Steph. He takes him out. Now it's a 1-on-2. Steph Lawson being taken out by Skeleton. It's a 3-on-2 situation. Oh man, he's didn't get revived. They didn't revive him. What a mistake.
Oh,
and just like that,
Clinton and his team won.
Oh my goodness! Talk about, I could hear Steph yelling from here because he knew he should have won that. They should have won that. They misplayed that end circle. They didn't revive Madness Mo, who's literally down on the dirt for a good, I don't know, 15, 20 seconds. If they revived him, I think ESA would have pulled out with the victory. But good job by... let's see what team that is. I want to know who is Skeleton, Hot Sriracha, Haber, and TT712. Getting the first place. Esports Arena looking disappointed on their faces, but you know they can't be too upset with a first person or second place victory, as you see through the scores. Jeff Victoria's Creamy Beats. I remember Creamy Beats. Trav Piper, Young Tuna at 3rd, Zezone HyperX, Co-Fish, I Am John, and Spiffers 4th. You can see out through the whole thing. I'm not going to point out last place because that's just kind of mean. You can look on it yourself on the website.
So it looks like we are sitting at first place with Clelton, Hot Sriracha, Haber, and TTT sitting with 13 kills as a team. We got Team ESA next with Stev, Manus, Mo, and Halftime getting frags, adding up to 9. So that's a lot of points between the 2 teams. I mean, in the end, you know, Clinton and his team got first place and the most frags throughout this whole match. Or Team Meta Threads, I'm sorry, guys.
Are they Team Meta Threads?